There's a soccer player, Ty's like he says, he's the goon that runs around and knocks people off so Grayson can score.
How does Ty remind you of you when you were 8, 9, 10 years old?
I guess we're kind of similar build, tall, lean like that, and just like my dad told me, you eat all those potato chips you want, but eventually they'll all stick on you.
And when did that start happening?
Well, not until got in my 20s, got in my my late or mid 20s, but it will happen, won't it?
We've talked about this before, but I think it's funny that for athletes who spend their whole life, burning 1,000 calories a day,
right.
You can eat whatever you want to. And you see them usually go in two different directions after the career is over. They either get really big or they stay in game shape.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, especially now that I'm 40, it gets on you.
But you stayed in shape.
Well, I think when you have kids, then you slow down even more.
Yeah.
Chasing them.
And all your coaching staff's all in good shape.
Well, yeah. And I think this time of year, though, you're in meetings so much, and you don't get you feel guilty if you go sit down and eat a healthy meal. So you're picking stuff up or you're grabbing stuff and you're sitting there because it's like studying for exams every day. Mm-hmm. It's 11 weeks of that because every hour that you are away from that film, from that computer and trying to study and cram it in your head and get prepared to teach your players as they come into meetings, because you want to have you're trying to get 6 hours of film watching daily into a 50-minute meeting with your players.
Right.
And, so have your teaching aids, and then to get ready to be able to, make that application occur at practice, too. So there's a lot of creativity in it. And so anyway, you get those, like myself, you become a nervous eater, a stress eater as you're working through the day, where some people go long periods of time without eating. And
then when you're recruiting, you're on the road, fast food restaurants.
Yeah, and I used to think, I didn't know this until recently, but I thought my car would only go if my hand was in a fast food bag. It
does go better.
For some reason, it got better gas mileage. It was a smoother ride and stuff. And then, when I hit 40, I realized that it will go, and you can't stop at Subway.
That could
sometimes
be a whole marketing campaign for McDonald's or Burger King or somebody. And Coach, I tell you, I have a family member who is a neighbor of one of your assistant coaches, and they said he's never home.
Oh well,
he's never home.
This time of year, we're good neighbors. This time of year, we're pretty quiet. But no, it's a grind. We talked about today at staff meeting that you can. There's 4 weeks of the season left. There's only 3 more Mondays after this Monday, so it's going by fast, and you can't slow it down once the season starts. And we got 4 games left, and we'd like to win all of them and capitalize and make a positive season out of this. So and as a coach, you can't look at the clock.
No,
you don't.
I'm sure you love it so much that you lose concept of time.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do and stuff. And matter of fact, I was a few minutes ago. I was working on practice schedule to get ready to come over here, and I look, and Ty and Emma and Graham and Julie are out there on the practice or in the stadium, just kind of knocking around, waiting until we came over here. Mm-hmm. You want to get out there to see them and kick the ball around and stuff, but you got 100 more people or so waiting on you at practice at 7 o'clock. Make sure practice is so. There's trade-offs to it, and you got to kind of get it done, and because you only get 3 or 4 seasons at this. But it's awesome that in our town, the kids can come here and eat with us, and we get to spend a little while together before we have to separate for practice.
It's funny. I was talking to your wife the other day, and I had never really thought about it, but it is true. One of the advantages of being a coach at UT Martin is you get to take Ty to school in the morning and Emma, and you're close to work.
You do, and you see that more and more. Especially, I watched a thing on Bob Stoops in Oklahoma, and he takes his kids to school and stuff because that's kind of he starts their day. It's important, but I don't know how you do it if you live in a town, in a metropolitan city that has a university.
Yeah.
Because you probably can do it in Norman, a little bit smaller town. You could do it in Oxford or Starkville, but in Tuscaloosa. But if you're in whether it's Memphis, whether it's Cincinnati or Atlanta,
mm-hmm.
You can't do those kind of things.
Yeah, and more pressure, I guess, from the outside world, from the media, where, you get a lot of media exposure, but you're just not bombarded with it.
No, not like those guys are, for sure. And that's definitely it's an advantage because you get to live a different lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And, now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of zeros that goes behind those guys and their paycheck that because they're held accountable to thousands of people when it comes to because people are given millions of dollars to their program. So but not that any coach, whether you're coaching at an NAIA school or Division III or in the OVC, there's no coach though that treats his games any less important than Alabama and Auburn do.
Right. What's so phenomenal to me, too, Coach, is even, and I think I can say this on the air, even going to South Alabama, you had Ty and Emma with you. They ride the bus, and it's important. Your role as a father is just as important to you as your role as a football coach.
Well, I appreciate that, and you're right, and but it's something that our administration, you guys and Trudy and Joe LaFar, you guys allow me to do that, and I certainly appreciate that because you make my job very easy. And some of those other things that I have to do besides, just coach the football team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a decision I made several years ago that we can dress up and wear ties and on the bus and suits and and try to be something that I'm not or make my team uncomfortable because I think it looks good. But that's not what we're about. There's more important things than just perception.
Mm-hmm.
But and I want our perception to be that if I recruit your son, if I recruit that we're going to treat your son like I treat mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not that's not a recruiting pitch. That's what is important to us. And it makes it fun. I think our players, it's like the other night in the locker room. Had a great win and very proud. It wasn't the prettiest game, but on the road we got the win, and that was the objective. And after the game, you see Montori Hughes, and he dumps the Gatorade. You wasn't in there, but John saw it. He flips the Gatorade on me and stuff, and he knew that wasn't the Sugar Bowl, but it was the first time we'd won. That UT Martin had won at EIU.
Yeah.
And and I think our players and our coaches and they're having their children around. It helps create that type of environment because they see me get on Ty when he touches something out of practice that he shouldn't have his hands on or whatever, and that's the same voice they hear me when I tell them that they're wrong for whether whatever they did, whether it's a mistake on the football field or in the classroom, et cetera. So as long as they can see it's the same type of instruction, I think there's some credibility with that.
Most definitely. And and I think some other coaches, and we've talked about this, even a coach that was at UT Martin several years ago, he didn't like people talking on the bus, and you didn't. It was more of a strict military attitude than a family attitude.
Well, and I've been with some coaches like that as well. We have rules. I mean, our rules are this.
Well, I say that you're relaxed yet focused, and if you can walk that line, you're all right.
And I don't take that as a criticism at all from you. I know what you mean, but I say, the kids are going to have their cell phones with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys, that's how they tell time. They don't wear watches. They look on their cell phone. And then the Trudy, what is it, the iPhones or this, that, and that. That's where their music comes from.
Right.
Okay. So to say that you're not going to have cell phones on, that's not a very good statement. But we say this, hey, I don't want to see you talking on them in the hotel, in the lobby of the hotel, in your room. Okay. As long as it's music, that's fine. So things have changed a little bit when it comes to that. And there's always parameters. Here's our policies. Here's what we need you to wear. Here's how we need you to act. Here's there's no movies. There's no long distance telephone calls. It's business casual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now obviously if we lose a game on the way back, it's not going to be as fun, and I'm not going to be as talkative as if we had won. Okay, because there's some things that we need to think about and get rest, get ready to move on to the next game. But it was neat on the way back home the other day. We got a lot of kids from Tennessee, obviously, and some kids from Alabama, and of course Tennessee and Alabama were playing.
Right.
So they were checking the scores and around the country, and a big argument, a fun joking argument took place of Alabama high school football compared to Tennessee high school football. And I think Montori was was part of this conversation, and somebody yelled up front, where it was Julius, whoever, coach, get Nick Saban on the phone because we played Knoxville, now we want to play Alabama, and we want to settle this argument of and so it's fun to hear, it's like brothers back there fussing and fighting on the back of the bus.
Yeah, and it makes your team closer, which has got to lead to what happens on the field.
No question. It's and that's why that game was very important to us, in my opinion, because I think back to 2006. I remember to some 2008 and some of our 6-win conference years. And there's always a game or two that we won that was just kind of ugly. You look at your statistics and you say, well, golly, didn't play that well, but we won. This is a game that hopefully will lead to that because, although and it came down to third down on both sides of the ball, and you only had 59 plays or 58 plays offensively.
Yeah.
There was 5 third and 4 or less, and most of them were 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 4, which is kind of where you want to be on third down. In that you can run or throw.
Mm-hmm.
we had 3 drop passes, we had a fumble snap, and a running back trip over the quarterback. So there was 5 3rd and 4 less that you can see obvious that the play's going to be made, that we just tripped ourselves up. So, and those are 5 that should have been converted to first downs, which would have been 15 more plays. At least you're going to get another 3 downs, at least. So that's why, there wasn't not a lot of plays. That's why we couldn't get in a rhythm, because on those 3rd and shorts, 3rd and mediums, we were not making it happen. And then you look on the other side of the ball on defense, where we'd given up 9 of 17 3rd downs. They rushed for -5 yards, but the guy's 27 of 36. And, several different things. You miss a sack. TJ had the guy on the corner blitz on the sack. We missed it. Give the quarterback credit. He made a lot of good throws. The receivers made a lot of good catches. But it was just different issues with coverage-wise that would allow those 3rd downs to happen. And sometimes, like I said, we were there. Just got to give the quarterback credit. He made some plays.
And I agree with you. We're going to look at the game in specific right after the break. But if you can not play well and play ugly, I guess, and win, that's good for the team.
No, it is. It is. And things go when you're kind of snake bit like like EIU seems to be a little bit this year, because guys they had Murray beat on the road. Okay, and we think Murray. I know we beat Murray pretty handily, but they're a good football team. So you knew they had a quality team, and it was just that all they need. Sometimes you just need one. They needed that game to go in their favor, and then who knows, they may win out.
Right.
There's not a lot of difference between us and them. There's not. It's just a confidence level. Once you start losing several games like that, your focus is hard to maintain for you get the players, because your head coach is retiring. And even though some of them are fighting to send him out on a great note, some may be looking forward to and it's just human nature to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And so and sometimes it's hard to keep everything together. You just need one good thing to happen. So good to get the win. Very proud of the football team, and move on to this week.
Okay, Skyhawks win 24-23. We'll talk about the specifics. I can't wait to talk about the last minute of the game. That's coming up when we return live from Snappy Tomato Pizza. Skyhawk Talk continues on the Skyhawk Sports Network.